You ready, brother Leonard? The floor is
Ye-
yours.
Hey, good evening, good evening. This is your national spokesperson for New Order National Human Rights Organization, Leonard Jones. It's a pleasure to be here. Shout out to my man Knowledge, Due to Knowledge, for allowing us this opportunity to be on his platform, sharing the knowledge with everybody. We know what's going on out there, man, and it's a nation in peril. I like that term that the organization I'll be using. I'll be having a town hall meeting. There, a virtual town hall meeting tomorrow with lots of different organizations and things like that. Go to Facebook to find out, the information. I'll post the information on our Facebook page at New Order National Human Rights Organization. Also, it's Real Talk with New Order if you follow the radio show or what have you. But man, what is there not to say about what's going on? A lot has been said, but what's more important is the injustice of the matter. Definitely, if you really want to find out where it is you need to fit in. Understand that your choice is your choice. I would hope that you would be trying to fit in to be the most effective that you possibly can and possibly can be in this fight against injustice. If you have issues in your local area or you don't have any leadership in your area or what have you, give us a call at 1-800-346-5138. We have an excellent staff dedicated to taking your calls and trying to give support where we can, doing whatever we can for you in your issue, because we do know that yes, we have these other things going on, but a lot of people have a lot of personal struggles as well. So the fight don't stop. The fight that's been going on for some time don't stop. The fight that's been going on for 365 days a year don't stop 24/7. New Order National Human Rights Organization. We do this each and every day, which leads me into dealing with the feelings, the emotions, and things of that nature. Feelings and emotions ain't laws. Feelings and emotions are not what's going to stop police brutality. What we have to do is we must become part of groups who are forcing power to succeed. That's what you have to understand. Right now, power ain't going crazy. Power ain't losing its mind. Power ain't acting just because they don't feel good. Power is not acting just because, they upset. Power has an agenda. Power has a plan, and they will use it against you to suppress you. There will be no need for National Guard or anything like this without behavior. So imagine if black people were standing off to the sidelines watching the destruction that you all claim that the white folks is doing. Come on, man. You got to be real on both sides of this coin. Let's be effective at what we do. And I know a lot of people love emotion. You mean that's your thing. If you love emotion, great. I mean, I know how you feel. I've just always chosen to be in control of myself. I've just always been chosen to be able to be the master of my own fate. I've just always chosen to try to make the best decisions possible and never lose my cool and lose my mind, because there's no telling what I might do. That's what I want people to think about, because it would have been just as easy for us to have shown up on every Moral Monday that was going on at the Capitol building here in Georgia. All these things that we could be doing when there's not a killing or a shooting, we could have been doing. But I do understand. Supposedly, people all over the world are standing up against this injustice. But where's the support? Why does it keep happening? You have to ask yourself that. Why does it keep happening? It keeps happening because the people in power are okay with it happening. If you have an issue in your local community right now during election time with your sheriffs and things of that nature, guess what? This is a great time to get in touch with them and ask them what they're gonna do, to ask them how they're gonna feel, to find out if they fit to lead and they fit to have those positions in your community that hold so much power. Right now is the time to be asking district attorneys, do you have an issue prosecuting police that engage in this type of behavior? This is why it keeps happening. Judges and prosecutors and those involved in the criminal justice system support this type of thing. They support police officers walking. This is the way the law is set up, the way it's set up, is to give these people an immunity to prosecution. District attorneys who don't make decisions and say, I'm going to just send it to a grand jury for them to decide, it's because they're cowards. It's because they don't even have the mental or character or the fortitude to insist that justice be done. So rather than use their political popular uh, uh, reputation, you will speak. Because trust me, a lot of folks ain't favored, especially white folk, district attorneys, by the way. If they see them helping black folk too much, they get rid of them. If they see them insisting on justice, they get rid of them. So we need to have people in these positions who are there for the justice of the matter, not just the job and the position. District attorney is a big deal in your neighborhoods, in your communities, and in your counties. That's where all your charges come from. So every time we have an incident like this and you wonder why the police haven't been charged, it's because the district attorney hasn't charged them. Why is it taking so long? Because the district attorney is dragging their feet. Why you got to go to a grand jury? Because always you turn around, the system is set up for them to pawn off these decisions. I want some district attorneys that really stand up and say, matter of fact, I'm going to seek every case of police brutality and make sure it's resolved and the families get justice. If you want to get in that office of being a district attorney, that's what you should be thinking right now. You should be, I see all of the people and the politicians and everybody. Oh, it's a shame and a disgrace. What about the other hundreds? Was that a shame and a disgrace? Or is it just a shame and disgrace when you get a chance to be on camera to talk about it? Think about it. The district attorney could charge anybody. Paul Howard, you still ain't charged the people for going in and killing Jamarian Robinson the way they do. I know the federal government is not participating. But what does that have to do with the responsibility that you have to the citizens of Fulton County? They put almost 72 holes in Jamarian Robinson's body. Shot him at point blank range, laying on his back after he was dead. And walked right out like it was a regular afternoon. But you can't do nothing because the federal government not cooperating. It happened in your jurisdiction. It happened where you have the power to do the right thing. Why didn't you do it? Thank you for what you have done. Go all the way, brother. You've enjoyed that position for a very long time. We don't need no more excuses. Go all the way, brother. I've seen you volunteer to take control of things. Minor issues. But when something like that happened, now we have to wait. It's been almost 4 years since this happened to Jamarian Robinson. But anyway, let's move on. George Floyd. This is reminiscent of the previous issue with Brother Gunn. I don't need a new I Can't Breathe shirt because I got the old one. I just put it back on. We try to investigate to let people know what is actually okay. You do not understand the leeway and the discretion that these officers have each and every day to harass you, to stop and frisk you, to lie about probable cause. Just recently, you have folks in Congress right now under the guise of foreign terrorism. I believe you've probably heard of the FISA courts and things like that. Well, this is what allows the federal government to actually monitor all your communications. Now, particularly, it was set up to stop foreign terrorism and things of that nature. And they always have a reason why they believe they should have these search warrants and things like that to monitor all your communications or what have you. Do you really think it's just for foreign terrorism? The federal government has been after all of the social media outlets right now to share all the information with them. In various areas and states and counties, they're already trying to pass laws to seize your cell phone, to seize the information on them. They're already having this huge battle with the Supreme Court back and forth about seizure of assets. One of the biggest issues about seizure of assets is the majority of those people who have a lot of money and things of that nature from whatever they're being suspected of doing. Even if the government is wrong, they want to stop access to all funds and everything, and to make it entirely difficult for individuals to live while they're under investigation. Under investigation leads me to my next point. Trust me, people, if you are on camera anywhere doing anything, looting, rioting, or whatever, if they decide to sit down and look at the faces and things like that and be able to identify those in those pictures, like some of them they have, like the white provocateurs that you all claim are doing all the damage, they can press charges against you. They can put a label on you. Remember when the little Elmer Fudd looking district attorney you had that was appointed, the U.S. Attorney General, I believe, that was appointed by your Commander in Chief, Donald Trump? Remember, his whole thing in the beginning was going after black extremists. Just not long ago. You have the new Attorney General, General Barr, the one going in pushing for all types of access to your information shared on local social media, on social media outlets. Not just whether you planning out to fly a plane into the trade center. They want to know if you going down there meeting with the NAACP, or are you meeting with the Black Panthers, or are you meeting with New Order National Human Rights Organization? What have you said that the president may or may not like? Should he be able to take actions against you, or the White House take actions against you because you express dissent? They've already been trying to get rid of protesting as it is. They want to get rid of protesting so they can continue with business as usual. No one brings up the things that the public needs to know about what's going on. It's constantly keeping you in the dark about what's going on. This is what they're trying to do. There are people in government that know their time is up. And they will do anything that they can to prolong their wicked rule over people. Yes, the Senate is completely wicked. Your president is wicked. His staff is wicked. And this country has been taken over by a person with all the desires of the worst dictators that had ever been on this planet. You shouldn't need to sit in front of social media and the news and watch chaos and destruction all day long. Without this type of behavior, you don't have no militia. Remember, they tried to run you all into a frenzy with COVID-19. But if you notice, that didn't last. So once they noticed that you all were going to do what you wanted to do anyway, even in the face of a horrible pandemic, y'all insisted on going out doing what you wanted to do. So they couldn't control that. The behavior didn't fit the agenda at that point. Lo and behold, here along comes another incident of police brutality. This particular incident of police brutality, because there's been many others during the same time frame. But back-to-back media presence of these particular killings, specifically the killing of Brother Floyd, you got Aubrey down here as well. We're very close together. And it's not like it was planned, but it definitely presented the perfect storm. Because what you do must understand is that your police forces and everything do have several bad apples in them. They are run by corrupt sheriffs and corrupt police chiefs, many of them who come online and say ignorant stuff like what they did to Brother Floyd was justified. Ignorant law enforcement in Mississippi and every other tomorrow, they don't see no problem with what happened. That's because that's the type of people that they are. Those are the people that you let wear that badge. If you want to get in the way, because right now you're just tearing things up, you're not in the way. You're not in the way of the wheels of government. That's what those Humvees and things like that are going to be in your city about. That's what they're about. Don't get it twisted. Just like you go and do your job, they got a job to do as well. You know how you're on your job and you know racism is going on your job, and people are being treated unfairly, and people are being fired, and these types of things, but you don't do nothing. All the other opportunities you have to stand up against racism, you do nothing. But then when the opportunity comes to act out, here you go. We need your energy on the other side as well. I've never been that type of person. Just because a situation means my character don't change. Just because the situation does. So I don't support rioting and looting, but I understand. I just choose not to do it. Now, if that's what you choose to do, hey, to each his own. More power to you. Be safe. But do know that's what you chose to do. If you get shot, killed, or what happened while you are rioting or looting or doing whatever it is you're doing, that's your choice to be out there doing that. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters that have led and been a part of and participated in peaceful protests and everything for many, many, many years. Shout out to you guys. I see you out there. I see you doing what you're doing. Be safe, be intelligent, and be effective. One thing about my experience with various organizations that fight for civil rights and human rights, I've learned that it's most important to develop a strategic plan to get anything done. That is what is most important. That is what is most effective. The biggest thing that you can do, if you want to show up and really show out, man, can you, these people would go, the power would go crazy if you turned out 70% at the polls to vote. They would completely lose it. I understand you want, I believe, boycotts or blackouts, and you just couldn't wait to get back in them stores. They had you on quarantine. You should already have a lower rate of consumption. You should not be used to going to them places where you were going to spend money. Oh, my fault. Y'all was in line at the places to spend money. But now you want to boycott. How hard is it going to be? What is you boycotting anyway? Some people need to go back to boycott school and devise a plan to boycott from beginning to end with demands and what you want to happen before you start spending with those stores again. Boycotts work great locally. Boycotts would work great when you have people willing to go without. But we have to realize what is possible. Right now, it's very difficult to talk about what you're going to do if you're under restriction, quarantine, the COVID-19. Also now, I believe in some areas you have martial law, I guess, has actually happened. That's another thing. You got to be careful with the media. Very careful about the media. You know, social media posts pictures on other events just to get you upset about what's going on. Social media posts pictures and things like that and put current headlines on them and old pictures. One of the things that's even more upsetting is the fact that, one, people are acting as if they are not participating in the behavior and making it a black-white thing. There are white people that are just as tired of injustice as you are. Don't think that you own outrage, because you don't. You don't get to dictate to people how they express themselves. So if how you express yourself is through looting and rioting, then that's just who you are. I support that choice. I don't agree, but I will support your right to choose to do what it is you want to do, even to your very own detriment. I am not your father and I am not your God. and you shouldn't expect anyone else to be. I am not responsible for making sure you feel good, nor is anyone else. And I say that to tell people it's more important that, one, that you have an internal compass that directs you into making your best decisions. There's an opportunity to stand up against and fight every single day. There always has been. I know there has been for me over the past 15 to 20 years. I've always been able to find something constructive to do, to working with organizations, participating and committing to the dreams and the visions of other leaders and things like that with organizations. Most important being their mission and their objectives. What is your mission and what is your objective? Are the things that you are engaging in and doing on a regular basis contributing to the mission and the objective that you have set? Any strategic planner knows that that is very important, because if not, you have chaos. Nothing good comes out of chaos. Chaos will be suppressed. Chaos presents the perfect storm for more brutality. That's what chaos does. When you can get people not to be able, okay, wait, who blowing up stuff? Who turning stuff over? Who's setting fire? Chaos mask behavior. Gives you a level of anonymity. But remember, we got this out here now. You can't say you didn't do it or it wasn't you if I got a picture of you. Those people who are protesting peacefully, they still doing the same thing that they've been doing. Yeah, because that's who they are. They're decent people that won't change. They fight every single day against racism. They give their time, their talent, and their treasure to organizations to push against what's going on. Every time a law gets changed, it's never related to looting or rioting. Not to your benefit. Now you got cities want to put on a curfew, and in some instances, ain't nothing going on in the city. So now you just want to suppress people's coming and going. Why? Just to say you tough, you got power. If you got to ask the question if you need a curfew or not, you don't need it. City of South Florida. Be careful about what you think oppression really is. We should be fighting against right now against a system that constantly comes up with the wrong answer. These types of injustices and murders and inhumanity can be stopped if the people doing it actually changed their rules, their regulations. I can guarantee you, ain't one commander, chief, or nothing walked out and say, "Stop shooting unarmed citizens." Not once. Your own president condones police brutality, and he'll send them all the money that they need to get that job done. He reassures them each and every day that it's okay. We have to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that these people are removed. As long as they in office, they got power. All you got is a looting and rioting. Who you think gonna win? Seize power, people. You can't seize power through rioting and looting. You must be in charge of the tanks. You must be in charge of the guns. You must be in charge of law enforcement. Shout out to those politicians and those law enforcement officers that are standing up for the right thing, man. Let's get some judges to stand up for the right thing for a change. Let's get some prosecutors, some district attorneys. Let's get some public defenders to commit to making sure that innocent people can present all the information to defend themselves when they do go to court. Let's change those laws that only apply to a certain color of people that live in a certain area. We must change those laws that make it so easy. If I could sum up what I believe the agenda is, to me, is catch and release. I got to put a label on you. I got to put a tag on you. I must, because remember, what's the big deal now? The COVID-19 tag. It's a big deal. Remember what I told you, COVID-19 tag. Whether you suffering from it or not, all it takes is for somebody to put a positive test for COVID-19 on your record. If you get arrested at this point in time doing these types of things, or riot and looting, despite a lot of the other criminal charges that they could probably give you, there may be a new charge in there for insurrection or something of that nature, or something a lot more criminal than people really think. And basically, it deals with how they treat terrorists. You know, you move from just being not cooperating with law enforcement to start hearing different terms like enemy combatants and things of that nature. That's the talk of individuals that view you as terrorists. We have to be careful, people, especially when it comes to these emotions. And you must start becoming a thinking people instead of a reacting emotional people. Shout out to my brothers of the Nation of Islam, always being there for a good balance. Um, much respect to the leader of the Nation of Islam, Brother Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister. Shout out to all those ministers who are doing their best they can to minister to this chaos. I'm glad you're there, because that's not my lane. That is not my lane, to calm other people down. You're adults. I'm not going to look down on you as second-class citizens. I'm not going to look down on you as 3/5 of a person. I'm not going to look down as you as a slave. I'm going to look at you as a human being with a right to choose what you want to choose. That's all. You shouldn't expect people to listen to foolishness. I don't care how you feel. Yeah, I understand. I'm going to listen to how you feel. But does that change tomorrow? How committed will you be after this? Because we're going to need people with this much passion in government. Shout out to the activists who are running and have been elected. Learn how to make the transition from activism to a political career. Power does stuff. It don't just say stuff. It does stuff. It makes things happen. If you can't make things happen, you ain't got no power. If you can't create laws and regulations, policies, and you ain't have no power. You don't have it. Go vote for people that have your best interests in mind. Stop going voting and expecting it's the right thing to do. Is the right person in charge? Is the person in charge concerned about doing right? Or do you think that people just do the right thing? Amazing how those two things go together. I love to remember the movie Do the Right Thing. A lot of y'all acting out right now because y'all remember the movie and all that, and this is your chance and this is your opportunity to participate. A lot of you don't want to miss the opportunity to riot and loot, to exploit the memory of Brother Floyd. How you more upset or more hurt than his family? How are you upset or more hurt than his daughter? I understand this has been happening over and over and over again, but when there were constant calls made out to you to get involved in your community, you didn't listen. Not long ago, we had an issue in Ferguson. The Ferguson community and those people in that community were determined to, hey, let's seize power. Yeah, we mad. Yeah, we got upset. But how we gonna seize power? How we gonna stop it from happening? The way we're gonna stop it from happening is we're gonna insist on citizens review boards. We're gonna insist on demilitarization. We're gonna insist on rules and regulations for the hiring of police officers to police certain communities. Are going to insist that there be rules and things in place to hold public officials and law enforcement to the highest level of scrutiny than any other civilian in the United States of America. If you're gonna be carrying a gun and a badge, no, you don't get the opportunity to be involved in domestic violence. If so, you can't be a police officer. You can't have a criminal record and be a police officer. If you letting your friends off doing wrong, police officer, you looking the other way when you see police officers doing wrong, you can't be a police officer. And it's my passion to go after you. It is my passion to make sure you lose your jobs and that you go to prison for the crimes you are committing against humanity. I have no love for those people who don't do the right thing when it comes to these types of issues. This is about justice. Take racism out. This is about justice, people. Racism is what caused justice to be so perverted because you allow perverted people in charge. Flush out the perverted leadership everywhere, locally, state, and federal. Insist on oversight. If you've never talked to your mayor before, get online and send your mayor a letter. If you've never talked to your chief of police before, send your chief of police a letter to let them know that you want to be a part of the solution. Get involved, people. Get involved before something like this happens. The same people that's rioting and looting, they do this every day. It's on the news every day. They just don't do it in mass. Your communities are tore up, burned up, boarded up, and everything because of the same behavior and issues. Keep just acting out. Keep just behaving, and then instead of changing your behavior, you mad at the person that records your behavior. You mad at the person that made the observation. I understand lying until you get caught. I understand every wrong way to do something. So let's do what we can to be a part of doing things the right way. If you're not plugged into an organization of some kind, doing something that you want to get involved in, give them a call, man. Let them know that you want to get involved in their organization to do whatever it is according to their mission and objectives. If there's nothing in your area that you can grasp onto, create it yourself. If you need assistance from a group like New Order National Human Rights Organization, give us a call, 1-800-346-5138. Go on to www.nonhro.org if you want to get involved. If you don't like New Order, get involved with the NAACP, New Era. Get involved with all these groups. Campaign Zero, I believe, is an excellent group. If you're especially interested in the policy issues and things like that you can be a part of to make change. I know a lot of folks that went from it not being a thing to now with this incident. Now they ready to get out in the streets and test. Man, come on, stop. Stop, because once all this is over with, then you over with. Once the news ain't there, once ain't somebody filming, once you ain't getting an opportunity to do your little song and dance or whatever you gonna do, you gone. What's important right here is to make sure that we are using a strategy and a plan to get what we need. I mentioned a couple of them to you, but these are the things that came out of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. And when Black Lives Matter and things like that did what they did to bring these issues to the forefront. The only problem is it was an option for law enforcement agencies to take these types of recommendations. It was an option to end broken windows policing. We need to get rid of it altogether. Community oversight committees. Big shout out to the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. People should be participating more. I hope they do so. We got to limit the use of force. And we must codify that, because there are laws and policies and procedures that give police officers permission to kill you at will. Fourth, let's look at independently investigate and prosecute. Some of y'all entire criminal justice organizations in your in your cities are corrupt. The judges, the district attorneys, and the public defenders all participate in injustice. We have to change that. Community representation must be at every single table. You should be welcoming community members that represent the community into your police meetings and be transparent. Don't hide behind closed doors and then sick these dogs on people on these streets. Body cams film the police. If we don't pay for the cameras, you need to have the camera. If you got the camera, you need to have it on. If you ain't have it on, you're fired. Did you come to work without your gun today? Did you come to work without your badge? Did you come without your uniform or your shoes? Then why ain't your camera on? You're fired. The reason why your camera ain't on is because you don't want to accidentally tape you harassing the community and doing those low life things that police do when they're not being watched. Training. Stop training police officers to kill people, and maybe they'll stop killing people. When I went to a couple of sessions with people about criminal justice or what have you, and I asked the same question to police officers. Have you received any additional training here in Georgia as it relates to policing in an open carry state? Anyway, and for profit policing. If you provide an incentive to harass and intimidate, to falsely accuse, misrepresent evidence, they will do it. Profit don't just have to be money. It could be with promotions. It's a special units and task force, like the U.S. Marshal Task Force that killed Jamarian Robinson. That was a group of police officers from different police agencies that got together and assaulted this brother and killed him the way they did. Great afternoon for them. Peace and blessings and prayers always to Monteria Robinson, you a soldier, for when that happened to your son. Like many mothers across this country. Don't just fall to pieces, fight back. Demilitarization. Demilitarization. Local police want tanks. Want the guns to kill more of you at a time. They want the ability to be throwing grenades and things in your windows and killing people without even having proper warrants or not even knowing if they at the right house or not. But yet they show up with all these things that you got folks over in Iraq fighting with soldiers had to do what? Fair police union contracts. You got to take care of officers, but what you can't do is you can't defend their wrongdoing. If you got a union contract that jumps to defend you when you murder citizens, you have a bad contract. That's what we need to fight against, people. These contracts that these people have with each other to continually deprive us of our justice. Once again, I would like to thank my man, Due to Knowledge, for the opportunity and the platform this evening. Shout out to our CEO and founder, Mr. Gerald Rose, for always being fit for the fight, always bringing compassion to an issue. We want to thank him for doing that. Thank him for his mission and his vision, and him allowing us to do what it is we need to do in our communities, whether it be mentoring, feeding those people in need of food, clothing those people with need of clothing, finding resources and things like that for those people who are homeless and need places to live. Thank you, brother, for creating that vision. We love participating and helping you accomplish that mission and objective. Once again, it's not I, but we. Peace.